Hello students, in this video we are going to talk about the cell wall, right? Here we are going to talk about the cell wall, right? Here we are going to talk about the cell wall, right? Cell wall of the cell, right? So obviously here we have that is cell wall is observed only on the prokaryotic cell, right? Cell wall is present on the prokaryote, and in the eukaryotic cell that is only it is present on the plant cell, right? Here it is only present on the plant cell, right? So when we talk about the cell wall, the characteristics of cell wall, the first thing it is a rigid outer covering, right? It is a hard outer covering, right? It is a hard outer covering which is there, right? Which is also called as cell wall, right? That is the hard rigid outer covering of the cell, right? And it lies outside the plasma membrane. It is present, right? It is present outside the plasma membrane, right? It is present on the outer side of the plasma membrane, right? And it also protects, right? What it is going to do, it is going to separate the inner and outer environment of the cell, right? That means it is going to separate the inner part of the cell from the outer part of the cell, right? It is going to separate the inner part of the cell to the outer. That means the inner organelles and the outer environment, with that means whatever there outside the cell wall, they are going to separate that, right? And when we talk about cell wall, we have, that is when we talk about the cell wall of plants, right? Let's talk about the cell wall of plants. The cell wall of plant is made up of a substance called as cellulose, right? It is made up of cellulose, and please remember this, children. It is readily asked again and again, right? The cell wall of plant, it is made up of cellulose, which is providing, and this substance provide, right? What it does, it provides, right? It provides strength, right? It gives strength to the plant, right? It gives strength, it gives structure, right? And it provides a lot amount of strength to that of the plant, right? So when we talk about the cell wall, right, the cell wall of the cell, it permits some amount of, right, even the fungi, right? Let's even I'll give you the name of the substance through which, right, fungi cell wall is made, right? Fungi, its cell wall is made up of chitin, right, which is also providing strength to it. You have algae, right? We do have algae, right? Algae is also having the cell wall of cellulose, and it also have some amount of what we call as calcium, right? Calcium carbonate in them, right? So some amount of calcium carbonate is also seen in the cell wall of algae. So there are different cell wall, that is the composition of cell wall differs from one organism to that of other organisms. So always another important thing, what happens, right, whenever a substance or whenever the cell is subjected to the osmotic stress, right, so it will protect the cell against, right, against osmotic osmotic stress. Now the main question arises, how does it protect the cell against osmotic stress? So when we talk about osmosis, right, just for example, it is a cell wall. This is the cell wall and this is the plasma membrane of the cell, right? So now what is going to happen during the osmosis? Right, during the osmosis, the water molecules are going to enter inside the cell, right? They are going to enter inside the cell, and because of this, when I enlarge this part, I'm only enlarging this part, right? What is going to happen? The plasma membrane is going to put a pressure, right? It is the pressure which is put by the plasma membrane on the cell wall, right? And this is the cell wall. It will give a counter pressure. To resist this osmotic pressure which is generated inside that of the cell. If the cell wall is not there, the cell will burst out. The plasma membrane of the cell will burst out, so it protects the cell. It counters the effect. It will push the plasma membrane inwards. It will try to resist this pressure inside, and it will protect the cell from the bursting, right? And this is why we say the cell wall is of a greater importance when we talk about the protection of the cell, right? Protection of the cell is one of the important feature of that of cell wall, right? And when we talk about the movement of the substance, right? Movement of the substance, so substance can freely move, right? Small substance, right? If there are small substance like water, right? Small substance, example, that is water and other molecules, they can easily cross the cell wall, and that's why, that is the reason that the osmosis occurs, right? That is the osmosis which occurs. So cell wall is one of the important thing which provides the strength, it provides the shape, it provides rigidity, and even it helps the cell to resist the bursting out because of the osmotic stress. So this ends a functioning or a small review over the cell wall, and I hope I am clear, and if you have any doubt, please do let me know. Thank you.